that psalm might as well have been also put right next to Marcus Aurelius' Meditations.
Absolutely. I mean, Christian thinking is heavily influenced by the Stoics.
Mm-hmm.
They were contemporaneous.
Yeah.
This is why they sound so familiar to each other. And the whole idea is like, you got a choice. You can learn and grow from your suffering, or you can try to avoid your suffering and have the same amount of suffering and not learn and grow.
Yeah.
What do you choose? And that's what it comes down to. So that's the most difficult lesson, but the most bracing and empowering lesson about how to find meaning in your life is to lean into your suffering and you will find your meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Grandpa Ferris had to do because he had no choice. He had no therapist. He didn't even have Advil, you know? And so that's what I'm talking about. Then the second point that you made, the second question you asked, is when you're in search to get presence. You're in search. There's a mistake that people commonly make, which is thinking if I search enough, I'm going to find. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. But the process is a little bit counterintuitive and different. Every religious tradition has a protocol for finding truth, and that is to make a pilgrimage, in which point it is revealed that your truth finds you. Now, there's a lot of ways that that's described in the Bhagavad Gita, where going to the birthplace of the Lord Krishna in Mathura, in the Hindi heartland, in Christianity for the Camino de Santiago, which I've walked twice, across the ancient route, 1,100 years old, doing the Hajj, if you're a Muslim. What you find is that when you make a pilgrimage, that's a metaphor for your life.
Mm-hmm.
And the end of the pilgrimage is the metaphor of the ultimate goal of life, which in Abrahamic religions is heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's the end of samsara in the karmic religions, or whatever it happens to be. It's the reuniting with the Godhead in the Hindu body of religions.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is that what's most important is actually what's happening to you in the process of this pilgrimage. And what actually happens to you neurobiologically is that you beat yourself to the point that you have an open aperture, so that you're no longer in a defensive crouch, such that you're weak. You weaken yourself on purpose. This is why you walk 25 kilometers a day and you're walking on blisters and you're actually inducing this amount of pain. And I remember this, the first time I walked my Camino, I was in a liminal space in my career. I just stepped down as the CEO of this big think tank and I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, I was 55 years old and I was spent, dude. I was out of gas. I was burnt out. I'd been working 80 hours a week. I missed a lot of my kids growing up. I'd made mistakes, right? They stuck with me by the grace of God. And I was walking the Camino day after day after day. I was praying. And I was tired and I was in pain. And when I entered into Santiago de Compostela, this medieval city in northern Spain, and I saw the cathedral, I realized that my mission was to spend the rest of my life lifting people up and bringing them together in bonds of happiness and love, using science and ideas to be a scientist in the public interest, but for love and happiness. And I didn't find that.
Mm-hmm.
It found me.
Question: how did that appear? Was it drop by drop? Was it a Japanese breakfast on a silver platter in your mind? I mean, did it all come at once, or was it bits and pieces that you slowly were able to weave together?
It was bit by bit, because it's not this epiphany. It's not like falling off my horse on the road to Damascus in a temporary blindness, which is probably, temporal lobe epilepsy in the case of St. Paul. But it was a realization. It was a realization. It was something that had already existed out there. It felt like it came to me little by little, particularly over the last couple of days of the pilgrimage. It was, what am I supposed to do?